My name's Kevin DeMackey, CEO at the Gurulocity Brand Management Institute. I'm a brand management trainer and consultant to leading consumer goods companies such as Kimberly-Clark, Procter & Gamble, Kraft Heinz, Gorilla Brands, and Nestle. Today we're going to learn how to gather key takeaways for your landscape assessment. So when you're writing your landscape analysis, at some point you're going to come to a spot where you want to write your key takeaways. And this comes from collecting all the information that you've collected from different sources and for different purposes based on the objective of your landscape analysis. So today I want to give you a few tips about how to gather those key takeaways and how to sort through all the information that you've collected. A few tips just to really start things off are right here in the purple you see. So the first one is to collect. You want to copiously collect as much information as you can and get all of that out from all the people that you meet, from all the files that you're looking into, all the sources that you're searching through. So collect as much as you can and don't leave anything out at the start of the process. The second one here is to organize. So once you get all this information, you don't necessarily want to just keep it as one big pile of stuff. So get yourself organized. It can be as simple as stacking like objects in different stacks around your office, or you could use a folder structure digitally on your server or on the computer that you're working on, but you want to start to put information that is similar to each other all into one place so that you're getting organized and you have a sense of what you have. Then you want to get physical. And I say that because a lot of times we get into our work, we're writing something like this, we're writing a strategic document, and we sit at our computer and we start to type things. And that's not the best way to really sort through information. One of the things you want to look for as you're going through all of the information are the patterns. You want to be able to connect the dots and put different things together that go together, look for the patterns, and come up with key takeaways that are a little bit more helpful than just regurgitating a pile of information, right? I recommend getting physical. Lay everything out. Make stacks, sort things, make notes, put things that go together physically in the room, and it makes it easier to see those different patterns and connect those dots. The next one on here is to stop. At some point, you're going to be working through all this information, and you're going to realize that you're getting diminishing returns. So you might collect more and more information, but it appears that information is similar to a lot of the information you've already gathered. It's at that point where you're not learning anything new that you need to make yourself stop. And instead of collecting information, now we want to start whittling things down and editing and looking for those key takeaways. The last one here is to understand the audience. You don't know what to look for as you're looking through all this information unless you understand the audience that it's going to be presented to and what their questions are, what their concerns are. When you know those things, then you have a better sense of what to look for as you're examining just the tons of information that you're going to be collecting. So those are some of the tips right out of the gate. When you're gathering key takeaways and when you're analyzing information, those are some things to keep in mind. All right, so now you've collected all of this information, maybe you've got it organized, you're starting to sort things through. The next thing you're gonna do is try to determine what's important in all of this information. What are the key takeaways you wanna bring to the surface when you write that landscape analysis? One method I've found that helps do this and makes things a little bit easier is to collect things by document. And so what you're gonna need to do, of all the things you've collected, maybe they're all not equally important. So you're gonna cherry pick a few choice documents that you think might have the best information or have those best key takeaways potentially inside of them. You're gonna read through each of those documents and you're gonna place a cover page on each document. So, for example, let's say this is a document that you're reading into. Maybe it's a piece of consumer research or a consumer research report. You want to make a cover sheet for that. Read through the entire document, mark the few things that you think are the most important takeaways or implications from that document, and this should be really 3 to 5. It should not be an endless list. It should just be the few most important things you'd want someone to know that you learned from reading that document. And then on your cover sheet, you're gonna write each of those takeaways. So you might have takeaway 1, takeaway 2, takeaway 3, right on the cover. The one other thing you might want to note, if it's helpful, are questions for further investigation. So maybe you have a key question now that you've read this document that you want to follow up on. But that's really it. So on your cover page with that document, you've got the most important takeaways from that single source. You're going to do that with each of the documents that you've selected. So you do that again. Maybe your next document is a financial report on the business or a report on the health of the brand. Maybe it's an equity study, or maybe it's just a competitive analysis, a deep dive into competitive products. Whatever that document is, again, you're going to write those few key takeaways on a cover sheet and then maybe a question for investigation or follow-up. Once you've done that with a number of documents, you're then going to take out a single sheet of paper, or you can do this, say, inside of a PowerPoint or Keynote program using an outline view, and you're going to take all the key takeaways from the cover of each of these documents, and you're going to write them out and create a general outline or flow. So now you're just transferring these over. You've already done the work. And if you even examine, say, just 5 documents, and you have 3 to 5 takeaways per document, now you've got 15 to 25 potential takeaways that you can organize into an outline for your landscape analysis. And what you're really doing here when you transfer each key takeaway is you're writing your headlines. So now you've uncovered key takeaways that become headlines for your analysis, and you can start to order them and place them into an outline. And already you've got a substantial head start on what you now need to go fill in to create your landscape analysis. Now, the final thing I'll leave you with is you may come across some documents that are not so, clear-cut what they contain. So for example, when I mentioned earlier, you might have a competitive document or a piece of consumer research as individual documents. Well, you may not have that sometimes. You may have, say someone else has done a different kind of analysis, and it's a collection of many things. It's got a little bit of consumer research, a little bit of competitive information, a little bit of information about technologies, and so it's kind of all mixed up. Well, you're gonna do something similar, but there's basically a pre-step to it. So you're gonna pre-sort. You're gonna first take the document, so let's say this is document 1 and this is document 2, and it's a collection of information. I've noted here C for consumer, maybe T for trends, R for some kind of maybe technical research, whatever those different slides are within the document that are kind of all mixed together. I would literally take that document, print it out, and then start separating pages and putting the like objects together like we initially talked about. So, for example, you would take this document and break them up and then regroup all the consumer slides together, right? All of the trend slides together, even though they're coming from different documents. And maybe this is technical research, my crooked hand not writing. Technical research, and you're grouping them together. So you've created now new mini documents or sorted mini piles of very similar information that have come from different sources. That makes your work easier now because now you can take these and do exactly what we talked about in takeaway collection. So it's a way to take something that has lots of different kinds of information. Sometimes it's hard to understand exactly what to do with that and break it up into pieces that are now easier to understand and look through and determine what's most important. So you have the general tips. We have how to collect takeaways from the documents that you've gathered, from the resources that you've gathered. And if you've got a more complex document or resource that's a little bit mixed up, you have a way to break it down so that you can then still mine those takeaways and get to at least a working outline of headlines and takeaways. If you found this video useful, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons. If you'd like to learn more about our brand management training and development programs, check out the link in the description below.